just a little short conversation about Ozempic and things like that. Because as the burrito diet, the whole thing is about being reasonable and getting what you want in a peaceful way. It's not even really about burritos. Burritos are just a example of a vehicle you can use to get there. But the whole idea is how to reliably and peacefully and enjoyably get as lean as you want. Okay. Most people are going about whatever they're trying to do, they're going about it in a very chaotic, overwhelming way. And so in this discussion, I wouldn't even say it's a discussion really, because it's just people yelling. When people talk about Ozempic, a lot of the fitness people, the general tone of this whole thing is like, oh, it's bad for you, it's this for you, it's that, and but it's not a very compassionate conversation, and it's not a very productive conversation. Here's my thoughts on this. Okay, we just talked about statistics earlier this morning and how they don't matter to you. If your preference is to get lean, you could get lean. The statistic is just telling you the state of everybody else generally, right? And yes, so 75% of the population is overweight and obese or obese. And so, I'm not just involved in the fitness world since 2009. I have been involved in retail, right? If you've seen the stores or the convenience store videos, I've seen what, people from all areas of life, what they're doing. They're like, I know these people are my friends. And the fact is, what I believe is, number one, what you think has no relevance on other people. And even though I will always say this is my experience and opinion, man, let me tell you, getting ripped and being strong is so amazing. It's so good. I love for other people to experience it, especially when they've never experienced it before. But that being said, a lot of people, right, who are very overweight, whatever their circumstances or their environment or the people they're around or the mental, bullshit that they have that might not even be theirs. You pick up things. We talk about programming all the time. Like, what thoughts are yours? The probability is that they're not gonna sign up at a gym and they're not gonna find a peaceful way to lose the fat and change their lives. And that's just what it is. There's no judgment. That's what it is. So I always kind of in my head was like, I'm not trying to change the world and change the health of the country. I'm trying to help the one person who comes to me change their world or change their life because they asked me. That's it. But if you have somebody who can take something like Ozempic and they actually end up losing 50 pounds, 60 pounds, whatever it is, regardless of what we might think and what fitness people might think, that person's life has improved. Okay? Now, it's up to them, obviously. We could say what is best practice and how you should go about it. You should eat protein, you should lift weights, so on, and you should exercise. That would be the best way, right, to make a permanent change. But we don't know that if somebody lost 50 pounds, 70 pounds, and they've never been able to lose it before, and now all of a sudden they're feeling better, they look better, they're, the burden on their system and their joints is lower. Maybe now that person's like, maybe I want to work out. And then that starts the momentum for them to, start going down a healthy path. There's no wrong way to go about it. And it's not up to anybody other than that person to navigate that. Now, one of those people might take it, they might lose a bunch of fat, and then they might say, I want to work out, I want to sign up at a CrossFit, I want to hire a coach, I want to hire a person to help me with my nutrition. So was Ozempic bad? No. The point kind of being is like, man, nothing is good or bad by itself. We always try to put meaning on things, and we get so worked up on what other people are doing, and the perspective that we generally have is we look at the things that are bad and we assign bad stories and narratives to everything, and we see problems. But why not look at things with a perspective that's like, what possibilities are there? Sure, like I would tell somebody like, hey, you want to lose fat and you want to change your life, start counting your calories, start lifting weights, hire a coach to teach you how to lift properly. That would be the best way. But why not have this perspective of possibilities for people? Like, hey, a person could take Ozempic, they could start feeling better and decide that, I don't want to be on Ozempic forever, but I feel better now, I want to go work out. And now that starts that thing. So these are all possibilities. But the reason I bring this up again is really monitor the type of information you're consuming, because if you look at almost all headlines, whether it's newspapers, traditional media, social media, fitness influencers, there's so much judgment and catastrophizing of everything, and people are generally not looking at things through a perspective of what are the possibilities here, what are the good things that could happen, what are the desirable things that could happen, right? And then just to take it back to this morning's video, it's like, look, also at the end of the day, this is not about everybody else. This is about you. What is it that you want? And honoring that desire, and then allowing yourself to stay receptive to the universe, because that's the only next step that you need to have. What is my desire, and being now I'm open, and understanding or thinking about the fact that it is possible. There's people who have been 400 pounds and they've gotten into phenomenal shape. There's people who are skinny fat their whole lives, they've gotten into shape. There's people who had catastrophic injuries and they've gotten stronger than ever and into tremendous shape. So if that is what you want, change that perspective, because it will be a much smoother ride, and the probability of you getting there goes way up. Okay? And that's it. That's what it's all about. Everybody's so concerned about, and even myself, I have to bring myself back. That's one of the reasons I have these conversations, whether with clients or with you, is it's a reminder to myself too. Like, why do I feel this need to focus on things that are outside of my control, that do not impact my immediate life? At least until I have the things that I want, which I have a lot of control over. then, you know, okay, cool, I want to do XYZ, I want to talk about XYZ, cool. But until then, you're just making your life more frustrating for no reason. So yeah, and you know, I always mention that there's a peaceful way to get all the things that you want. It's not just, you know, the other day I think I posted this thing about type 1, type 2, and type 3, where the little criteria or the difference was like type 1 is like people think I want X, but the things I have to do don't feel very good right now, but they'll feel good later. So there's this like thing of like struggle and sacrifice and it being just super hard. And then type 2 is like, well, there's things that are good, that feel good right now, but they'll feel bad later. But then the type 3 was where I was focused on. That's what the burrito diet is all about, right? That's what everything that I try to share is all about. It's like, you can actually have things that feel good now and are good for you later. That's type 3. And that's the sweet spot. That's where we want to be. And again, it has to be you being open to that perspective. And then, you know, if you're watching my videos, then I'm assuming that that's kind of what your thought process is. We're going to go into hyper strength and conditioning here, and we're going to wrap. But that's always been my thought process, because like I say, I struggled for a very long time and did not have results, and it was a big part of it was not knowing what to do. But another part of it is like I thought like, okay, you have to do all this crazy stuff to get in shape, which is just not the case. All right, that is it for now. We are back at hyper